I want to talk about Biden's MAGA Republican speech because things are starting to come out from the Democrats that would explain what they believe. So the policymakers, the lawmakers in charge right now, what they believe a MAGA Republican is, because Biden does tell you what a MAGA Republican is in his speech. But the Democrats, by and large, it appears, are not lining up with that belief system, with that definition. They're redefining. So let's watch part of Biden's MAGA Republican speech in front of the Independence Hall in Philadelphia. Let's see what Biden actually says.
Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know, because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country.
So, he defines and says that not all Republicans are MAGA Republicans. The mainstream Republicans aren't. The Republicans who support him or work with him are not MAGA Republicans. But let's go to the House, where a representative from Georgia, Hank Johnson, makes a statement about what he believes an actual MAGA Republican is. First, he's going to remind us of what MAGA Republicans did. So let's listen to this.
January 6, 2021 will never be forgotten, an infamous day in American history. MAGA Republicans descended upon the Capitol, engaged in an insurrection. They occupied the Capitol. 5 people were killed, hundreds injured, including hundreds of Capitol Hill police officers attacked and bludgeoned. It was a day that we'll never forget.
You're right. We won't forget January 6th. I've often talked and said that there are 2 sides to January 6th, literally 2 sides of the building. You have the side who actually rioted, the side who actually injured people, where deaths did take place, though not one death was caused by the protesters, outside of the fact that they existed. The deaths that did take place were all, to my understanding of what I have read, all of them were the protesters themselves dying. I cannot speak to the injuries of the officers, although the violence that was shown on that side would say that there probably was injuries. You can't throw fences around like that and not injure someone. So that would make sense. On the other side of the Capitol building, you had the people who were simply there because they supported Trump and they wanted the vote to. They wanted clarification, right? They wanted to know if they could trust the vote. That's what they wanted. Better or worse, that's what they wanted. That is their stated reason for being there. They were allowed into the building by the officers. In fact, some people have been cleared of all charges because of that very fact. So not everybody who was there on January 6th is equal, right? Not everybody has committed the crimes that they're being accused of. That's not the case. But it's still a terrible day. Was it really an insurrection where the Republicans put a knife to the throat of the government? No. This was never going to do anything. It was never going to be a thing. Was it wrong? Was it stupid? Absolutely. Should never have happened. That is not what conservatives do. They do not cause bloodshed. That's not a thing. And yet it still happened. We understand that it still happens. And that's the MAGA Republican, right? That's what Biden has said, right? That they caused bloodshed and they fought against the vote. They said that they questioned the vote. These are MAGA Republicans. But this representative from Georgia actually goes further and truly defines what a MAGA Republican is. And remember, MAGA Republicans are supposed to be evil. They're supposed to be the people that the government rounds up and gets rid of. That's the messaging coming out of this. The MAGA Republicans, those are actually fascists. Those are neo-Nazis. They are little Hitlers. That's what we've been told. That is the messaging we're getting. That's what's being sent out by the president and his minions, and by now representatives in Congress. They're saying similar things. So it would be very, very important that we define who a MAGA Republican is if we're going to say, go and beat them up, because that's what we're declaring, right? That's what we're saying as a government. That's what the government's telling us, is that it's okay to commit this violence. It's not, but that's the messaging that we're getting. That's what we're being told, that, yeah, no, this is fine. This is awesome. It's okay, because you would do anything to stop Hitler from taking power, would you not? Exactly, you would. Most people would say Hitler cannot become president. We cannot let Hitler be in power. And yet we have equated people who are not Hitler to Hitler. So it's probably pretty important that we define what that means. So let's see. What does this representative think that MAGA Republicans are? Because this is the very next statement. I clipped this. It's one clip that I broke into two so I could explain to you what I'm looking at. So he has said that January 6th was MAGA Republicans. They're evil, they're bad, they're no good, they're terrorists, they're wrong. Cool. Now he's going to go even further in this clip.
And people on the local level at affected school board meetings, they won't forget the MAGA Republicans descending on their school board meetings after January 6th, like January 6th, disrupting meetings. It was a coordinated attack happening across the country. Americans won't forget about it. School board members, teachers, administrators subjected to violence, threats of violence, harassment, intimidation.
You know who a MAGA Republican is, according to this representative from Congress? This Democrat representative? This leader? This one speaking on the committee? You know who a MAGA Republican is there? It's the parents who decided that they didn't want their daughters being forced to change in the same bathrooms as men, as other teenage boys. These are the parents who wanted their daughters to have a fighting chance in the sports that they were playing instead of being taken over by biological males. These are the parents who wanted their kids to be taught history and science and language and not political agendas. These are the parents who wanted to protect their kids from pornographic books and videos being distributed to their kids. That's who this Democrat representative in Congress is saying is a MAGA Republican. If that is the definition of a MAGA Republican, then I'm going to be one. I have long told you I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I do not like either party. But I'm going to sit here and tell you now that if you're going to define MAGA Republicans as these terrible people, and the definition that you use is that they are protecting their kids from evil and insanity, then yes, count me up. Count me in on this. Sign me up. I will be a MAGA Republican just for you. This is not okay. You are declaring that the evil acts that are coming against these conservative people, some of them are just simply moderates and just want their kids to be left alone.